Everybody be quiet back there. Oh, is it
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the formal bit, and as you can see, this is a little bit of a quiet Sunday jazz session, and it's a bit of a special one. This is going to be the last jazz session that we have in this venue, and for those that have been following this, I'll just give you a little bit of a background, and I know a lot of you have done a lot to talk about, preserve, write, eulogize, spin, market, and love this venue as much, and if not more than I do. The place was basically built on the site of the Bangkok Iceworks back in 1897 by a gentleman, young 22-year entrepreneur called Nylert, who took ownership of the land from where the British Embassy is up to a point just past Soi 9. And if those that remember the old British Embassy on the corner, there used to be a big concrete round bollard. That was the land boundary of the land that was given to Nylert to develop on what was the old Checkinn Canal, which was in the front of this venue. And back in 1897, this young 22-year entrepreneur built the first Bangkok Iceworks. And the ice that was manufactured here on this side was displayed in the palace in a special room that was effectively an international convention centre, because no one believed that you could make hard water. None can. And the times moved on, and later on this evening I'm going to put up a bit of a slideshow that showed times moved on even for the Bangkok Iceworks. Just prior to the Second World War, around about 1935, the canal that was out the front was filled in by manual labour, Indian manual labour at the time, and it was such a filthy job that the land was given to the Indian labourers that filled in the canal, that then became the Samat Prakan Road, and it was completed in 1939. And then there was a young engineer called Sukhumvit that developed the road all the way to become, in fact, Thailand's longest road, Sukhumvit Road, of which we are part of the Watana area. In 1957, on this site, a very small little area between Soi 5 and Soi 7 was cleared of old wooden buildings, and all the way up from here right up to Soi Sok was just small little farm and agricultural houses built as bungalows, mainly bungalows. There was no conventional Thai homes, as they were all built by Indians, and hence the term bungalow. They were called bungalows in those days. Part of the Bangkok Iceworks, and it is the oldest structure in this whole part of the city. It's just sitting behind the door here. And please excuse the pots and pans, and I think there's a little boy sleeping. But if you're going to have a look at something that was built in 1897, that's a little snapshot into history, and there's a little story associated with that. But associated with that, in 1957, on this building, on this site, was this building built using the old back walls of the iceworks. of which the door to the cellar is still there. The cellar was never allowed to be opened. My wife had the entrance filled with concrete because she felt the spirits that were living in there probably should be left in there. But notwithstanding it, this site was then built as an out-of-town fluff and tickle place, right out of town. It was an old bordello. The rooms are still intact upstairs, and in the days when the Peace Corps, pre-Vietnam War, this was an out-of-town place that didn't bother anybody. And it couldn't have been more discreet until the Vietnam War happened. And basically, if you see the pictures between 1957 and about 1967, you saw rapid development of all of the old R&R hotels, going back from the names that we all remember, the Rex, the Manhattan, the Miami, the Federal, the Atlanta, which I don't think was ever an R&R hotel, for those that know the Atlanta Hotel, the Grace Hotel, and this was an area that was never ever saw the R&R bars that New Peppery Road saw. And New Peppery Road was the Golden Mile, and I've walked down that street several times in the last week, looking at these wonderful old venues that would make such a marvellous place that we could move into. But those that know New Peppery Road, it's an impossible proposition. The place then enjoyed, from 1957 to the late 1979, a period known as the Copa. It actually appears in several R&R official movie clips, and in those days there's actually a couple of gentlemen in this bar that used to visit the old Copa Cabana. And yes, I see 3 hands, 4 hands, 5 hands. The gentleman over here, 1963. Do I hear a dance of 1963? 63. 63. We've got any 62? Okay. This was a marvellous old place, and it did attract. It was out of the way of the paparazzi, and many of you would remember the famous photographs of Mama Noi that were actually taken. The famous one up in the corner was actually taken in the Starlight Club. Was never taken here. But Don, who did you bring to the club?
A number of people.
Thank you. My name is Don Swift, and I came here in 1963 and stayed till 1968. It was pre-Vietnam War. I was a young kid. I was 17 years old, so I had a lot to learn real quick. Fortunately, I was involved with the military in escorting some of the celebrities that came from the United States to visit Thailand, both Thailand and Vietnam. Most popular, of course, was Bob Hope, but there are many others. In fact, there's a young Filipino band member sitting in here somewhere that remembers when we brought the Everly Brothers. I don't know how many people remember the Everly Brothers, but well, we brought him here, and the gentleman sitting in the bar, I don't know where he's at, but he actually, a lot of those, they didn't bring their own bands, so they were just local bands. This gentleman from the Philippines, so we had a nice talk. It's great to be back. Bob Hope, yes, I remember bringing him. One of the things that I did here back in the early 60s was I was involved in military telecommunications. Unlike today where you can pick up a phone, I can pick up a phone, call anybody in the United States from back in 1963, that was an impossibility. If you wanted to make a phone call in the United States, you went to the post office, you made an appointment. You showed up at the appointment, they put you in the booth, and they went radio back in the United States. Well, I was in a position in telecommunications where we had circuits going back to the United States that we used for military purposes. However, when folks like Bob Hope, celebrities showed up, they always wanted to call back home. Well, fortunately, they had to come to see me to make that call. So I met a lot of folks, just giving them an opportunity to call back to the United States. And not only the celebrities, but to the troops that were coming in. I don't want to ramble on, but it's great being back. It's been 50 years. It's changed a lot. Vet, when I left here, There was no overhead rail system. I lived on story one. In fact, we went down there, my wife and I went down there, and the house that I lived in is still there, which is amazing because everything else is gone. But I believe the house that I lived in for a number of years is still there on story one. But it is different, and I thank you for your time.
Just let the reminiscing go to one more. If there's anyone else speaking, you can do it a little bit later. But this slide, please share your... All right.
All right. Michael, like the individual that just spoke, came here first in 1962 with the military, and I worked with Jess Mag, telecommunications, just like the guy before me. And
What's your name?
John Odu, O-D-O-N.
Yes, I know you, John. You worked upstairs in the,
I worked in the microwave, I worked
Right.
in,
right.
okay. I lived on Soy Room Rudi, and after getting married, I moved to another soy. I can't remember what soy that was right now. But I left in '65 after getting married, and came back in '68 after Vietnam, and stayed until '70. Then I went to Taipei, Taiwan. But the times that I was here, I worked predominantly on soya soap in '68. And the King's Hotel I was the manager there at the King's Hotel for 2 years. And there's quite a bit of history, but I won't go into it all. And I came back after 1970. I came back in 2005 with a friend of mine from Germany who got married here. And I'm coming every year ever since, 4 times a year. I come back to Thailand. I got married here, I have 2 sons, and I'm just here vacationing. Thanks for your time.
I'm just conscious of our last jazz session. I want to keep the momentum going. But briefly, what I want to do is just now cover, fast forward about 30 years. And there's one more gentleman I'm going to ask for his reminiscence, but it's, we're winding forward from the early 60s to the late 79. And those that don't know, that was the end of the Copacabana when one of my predecessors got suicided on the front steps during one of the minor coups. And the place stayed closed, and if anyone can imagine, this place was, and what 3 years of having an empty building was. The gentleman that actually took this place over and opened it up again is standing by the bar. And I'm going to, just very briefly, maybe Ben, ask you to speak from over there if you want to come up. This is the gentleman that actually opened up Checkinn99. And, sorry? Yeah, 36 years ago, I think. There's a little bit of a memory issue. It's exactly the same date, but please give Ben a round of applause for opening up. That's a few recollections of the time.
Thank you, Chris. Well, I don't really remember the exact date. I think it was around '84, and we were looking to open an airline club. And that's where the name Check-In comes from, actually. That time, I'm Scandinavian myself, I'm Danish. My name is Ben. And that time, SAS had their base in Ambassador Hotel. And we wanted to make a club for airlines. Simple, not only Scandinavian, but all airlines. So that's why we call it Check-In. Actually, had a little sign also saying, never check out. But I think it's still there. Then I remember when we came and looked at it, it was very filthy. I mean, it was been closed for a lot of years, and we thought, can we make something out of it? But yeah, we did, and basically it's in the same shape as it was. You know about the rats, but you know, at that time it was a lot of residents. Yeah, somebody thought actually we had rabbits. And I remember we started actually up as a little place, and we had a single guy sitting in the corner playing acoustic music. It was a bit boring, but it was quite good. It was a start at least. We had no food, we had only drinks. And then, I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was when they made the movie Good Morning Vietnam. They stayed at the Hilton Hotel down at, and they actually asked us to rent the place 3 times a week, but no paparazzi, so actually it was closed. And that's why we have no pictures at all from that era. But they came here 3 times a week, and they basically had a good time. Robin Williams was all doing his stand-up comedian, and yeah, here, exactly here, well, at the bar or whatever. And they had different nights where they had only for the actors, then they had only one night for all the grip people, they had one night for the camera people. So it was very great, and actually, since we had no food, they required food. So it was a German restaurant here behind, I can't remember the name of it, but we actually opened the back door and we got their menu, and then we sold a lot of food. We actually sold more food than the German restaurant did. So and then we thought, okay, we might do some food, so we made a little kitchen here. It's probably Bangkok's smallest kitchen, but probably one of the kitchens got the most food out in this area, I think, especially after Chris took it over. But we used to start with some of the Scandinavian food, but I still see I still come here and enjoy the Chateaubriand. If you haven't tried it, you should hurry up to try it, because it's some of the best in town. And then, they then started having hostesses to entertain the people. And I remember I wanted to sell my share because I didn't have space on my name card, which says pimp. So, so I sold my part, and that was, I can't remember, that was in 1991, I think. No, I had my wedding party here actually, that was in 1992. So it had been sometime, 1993 I think. So that was my exit from this place. But I had so many good times here, and when I heard that it's ending of an era, I really felt sad. So I hope all the best. I hope Chris can find a new place. I'll do everything I can to look for another place, but of course it will be difficult to find a place with the same kind of atmosphere. But let's try. Don't give up. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce you to our Checkinn99 mural. You may have seen the expanded one in the lobby. This is the second of 2 that the artist Colin Cockerell has done for us. And the first one was used as the front cover of the history book written by Kevin Cummings that actually started, and copies are still available at the bar. It tells the Checkinn story. But I wish I had more time with Ben, because the story, according to Chris Caddo-Smith, is, those that know me, sometimes a little bit different to the story according to reality. But I did my best to try and recount the oral history of Checkinn. But this little mural, if you look at it, it's fascinating. Of the 300 or 400 faces that I gave Colin, he managed to get about 100 in there. And if you look closely, you'll see many of the staff, you'll see many of the characters. And Ben, first of all, I'd like to give you this internal mural. And the one that actually is very, very special is this.
quen phải nè.
the,
Không có má.
And if you know modern Bangkok, if you know modern Bangkok, and you know Sydney
โต๊ะ
Road,
12เอาสั่งปีก
spend 2 or 3 minutes at the mural in the
เขาสั่งปีกไก่
entranceway.
ได้แต่ปีกไก่
Because
ทอด
what
ยังไม่
Colin
ได้เลย
Powell's done here is
อ้าวแล้วพี่
brilliant.
พลอยบอกได้แล้วไง
ยัง
It shows the
มีแล้วไง
คนละโต๊ะคนละโต๊ะ
the entrance of Sort, but this
Yeah,
shows the
yeah,
boy bars, it
yeah.
shows the crowded streetscape, it's modern day
พี่ยาวก็มีหมูทอด
compared to what it was
ทีหลังหนู
when Ben took it over. We even have a member of the Bangkok Flying Club dropping.
แล้วคนเอาออกบินไปจะไม่ดูว่านี่ว่า
But anyway, Ben, this is yours, and please keep it as part of the place because this place would not have been able to start without someone like yourself. Okay.
I just want to say thank you very much. I mean, I'm really, I'm teasing my eyes now. It will be placed very well in my own place. If I don't know if anyone of you have been there, but I have a place in Sort 24 called the Admirals. So it will be up there for sure. I'll put it up in my special corner. Thank you.
I'd like to move on. And I'm just conscious of the time because we're going to do one hell of a jam at the end. And I don't know how many people fit on this stage, Keith, or what you've got in mind, but we're going to blow the roof off. Everybody! Okay. Moving on really quickly, the history of jam. I took this place over in 2011. I've been coming here since 1996. And it is part of my blood. Along with so many of you, you have such a sense of ownership which has made this bar what it is. And it is unique. When we go to a new place, it's not going to look like this, but the heart and the spirit and the soul, the service and the goodwill, we look to see this happening again. What I'd like to do very, very briefly, a year after we took over this place, and I've got a very special person I want to mention in a minute, but I want to finish with the jazz, is this jazz concert started a year after we were in here. Me and Keith, we decided to try and open up this place that had been closed on a Sunday for quite a few years because you don't make money on a Sunday in Bangkok. And it took a long time, and with the support of William, the quartet, and some very, very special friends of Checkinn99, this has now culminated in a night like this. Without much ado, what I'd like to do is just ask Keith to say a few words and make a few things.
That's Chris, ladies and gentlemen, Kato Smith. We took it over and redeveloped it and made it into what it is today and kept it through some very, very hard and challenging times. He certainly did. He's managed to keep the doors open. And I can tell you privately that that was not easy. And he did it. And we started the jazz 3 years ago. We've had 3 fantastic jazz festivals. And I contacted William Waite, was my first port of call, and Tor and Mai and Franco and everybody else that supported us, Tessie who's not here, all the musicians and singers that have supported us. We greatly, greatly appreciate you, and we say thank you with all our hearts. We hope to continue in a new venue with the same old atmosphere and everything. And also another person that's been working with us all these years, making the music here sound amazing is Kiko. He's always behind the scenes. He's always first here and last to leave. He's been working with Music of the Heart for 15 years in this room, entertaining people from all over the world, and amazingly and so humbly. So Kiko has done that. If you look closely, you will find you are there somewhere. We're not going to tell you where. You have to find yourself. And like all the other musicians, thank you for your support and in sound and music and everything you've done. So I say thank you. Yes, go ahead. William Wake, ladies and gentlemen. These small tokens of art are also created by Colin Cockrell, and these are itself a part of history. And William, you are in there somewhere. You'll have to look closely to find yourself. You are there. The doctor, we call him the doctor actually. So yes, thank you. And thank you for coming and you've been playing every single week. Jazz on Super with Checkinn99 has grown to a community of amazing musicians and people who appreciate music and jazz itself. So Tor, Ryan,
โอ้ยมีเงินอยู่ร้อยเดียว
some of the original,
ที่ใส่
Franco,
บ้านเนี่ยออก
Ilya,
ก็เป็น50 บาทเด้แต่บนเนี่ยเสือก็มันถือ
please come on board.
มือนี้มันบ่อยู่มันบ่
This
อยู่
is
มัน
Mai
อยู่
on bass, ladies and gentlemen.
นี่ก็เพียนไปอยู่บ้านกันก่อนบอก
Franco on guitar, who started out with us.
ที่แม่นี่ก็ต้องเรียน
Ilya, who joined us about a year or two ago on saxophone, has been here every Sunday.
มาบ้านซักเลยค่ะ
Who else we got there? Mook, come Mook, where are you? Come on up here. Mook's usually, well, we think he's from Bangkok, but actually he's probably from Mars, his home city. And his guitar playing is out of this world, that is one thing that's for sure. Thank you, Mook. Romy is the sexiest singer in Southeast Asia. The way he moves his hips, the way he sings his lips. Where are you, Romy? He's there lurking about. He's probably got married and divorced 3 times today already. Tor, where are you, Tor? There he is. Put that woman down, will you, please?
What we're after is
Warren hasn't arrived yet, but if he does, we shall. We do want to say thank you to Warren, our trumpet player and singer who's been on.
stand facing the camera. Turn your picture around. And I'd like to give Keith his copy. Keith, mate. Okay. Tour, we're missing Tour.
Here's a Tor.
Can someone go outside and look for Tor, the guitar player, please? The drummer.
Here's Mr. Tor. There's many more people that, you know, we don't have a presentation for, but you are very much part of us and what's happened here at Checkinn99. So we thank you all also for being part of this and for getting it. A lot of people don't get it, but you get it. And, thank you, Tor.
And can we have...
He's the machine in the background that keeps it all together. Keep going.
And can we just compress this way? So
Nino and John Gordon and Baby and Charles and Judy. And for the musicians that are not here, we thank you too. Tony.
Yeah, okay, let us get going. Right this way.
A picture, young guy. Movie.
And if I could also just say, it's not all just about the music too. We have Christopher G. Moore, James Newman, Jim Newport. There's many people that are also writers and poets that are behind the scenes. That Kevin Cummings, who have really helped us promote and supported us through their networks and through their writing. So thank you guys
From my
too.
mood. Stop, young guy.
We have copies of the Bangkok Beat. I don't know if someone could bring one up for me. Can someone bring a copy of the Bangkok Beat up here?
Clifton Hardy and Keith and Carter also thank you.